uh, friends who have assembled here. Namaskaram to all of you and a very good evening to all of you. It's a pleasure to be amongst you all on this very good, fine evening. As it was mentioned here, I'm in New York to attend the International Migration Review Forum, which is a event organized by the UN General Assembly. This is the first International Migration Review Forum. Along with that, as somebody pointed out, there was a discussion, a ministerial discussion yesterday on food security and issues related to that. Today, in the UN Security Council also, there was an open debate on that topic. So, as a minister who is in charge of overseas Indian affairs, and more than that, as a minister in the ministry led by our beloved Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, who considers the Indian diaspora across the world as living bridges. I consider it my responsibility and duty to meet you, to inquire from you, and to know from you how you feel about India, how you feel about yourselves, and how you feel about others. So that's the purpose of my visit. So as our CG mentioned, I felt it necessary that I should be coming over to this part of New York so that I can meet you leisurely and then carry back your views, your opinions, your suggestions, which will help the government to take a considered decision, to allow the government to have a considered view on various issues related to the country as well as Indians across the world. I don't want to answer every question that has been raised because that's not my purpose of coming here. Answer could have been given even through emails. So it's not a question and answer session. I will put across my views, some issues on which perhaps even the CG may be able to get it across to you. Some views which you have expressed, I will definitely convey it to the concerned people in the government for their consideration. So friends, you are part of our extended family. So it's always a delight to meet all the members of the extended family. During my last New York visit, I had the pleasure of interacting with our sisters and brothers in Connecticut. So after the engagements in New York, I'll be traveling to Los Angeles and Houston to meet with our community. Our diaspora has played a stellar role in strengthening our ties with the United States and with nations across the world. Your hard work, achievement, and success are a matter of immense pride for us. We want to nurture and nourish these special ties for the betterment of our international engagements and for expanding our global footprint. It's our resolve to make our connect with diaspora even deeper in the 75th year of our independence. Our Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is an occasion to cherish our achievements as a modern nation and as much our age-old civilizational ethos, traditions and values. This is a global celebration from New Delhi to New York and beyond. Many of you have joined hands with the consulate in celebrating our diversity, art, sporting achievements, innovation, and much more. I'm happy that the community, in partnership with the consulate, has taken upon themselves to showcase and share India's linguistic diversity with our friends in America. You have organized events on Tamil, Sindhi, and Rajasthani languages, and more are to follow. And to recall the legacy of our freedom struggle, programs have been held on Mahatma Gandhi, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Jayaprakash Narayan ji, Vivekanand ji, and Rabindranath Tagore. Those on Lala Hardayal and Lala Lajpat Roy are to follow. These leaders were either influenced by American thought or were connected to this country in one way or the other. And for that reason, it's opportune to recall these special ties that permeate our Azadi, that's our freedom. If you know how deep Indian roots run in American soil, it becomes that much more meaningful and easier for you to be a connect between your motherland and your adopted homeland. So we look forward to your wholehearted support. I think it may not be proper for me to request your wholehearted support. I would request all of you to be part of the celebrations and celebrate the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav along with the Indian consulate and other members of the Indian community. Friends, we are living in an age, in a world which is witnessing unforeseen disruptions and shocks. It has posed several challenges for us. In India, we have been trying to deal with it to the best of our ability. Our Prime Minister attended the second global summit on COVID called by President Biden. We have done reasonably well to fight the COVID. Almost 90% of adult Indian population is fully vaccinated. And more than 50 million children have also received their doses. We have supplied over 200 million vaccine doses to 98 countries. 3 US-based vaccines are being commercially produced in India. India has the capacity to produce 5 billion vaccine doses this year. Our low-cost COVID mitigation techniques are also being made available to the world at large. And if I go beyond the COVID, India is making global headlines in several counts. But I would like to focus on 3 of them. One, it is the fastest growing major economy. Indian economy, despite the global headwinds, is slated to grow between 7 to 8. And now I saw some reports in the newspapers, and as per some of the estimates, that has been publicized by the UN, India's growth will be around 6.4%. They say that it will be slightly lower than the 8% which was predicted, but that will be double, more than the double of the global growth rate of 3.1%. And India would be perhaps the one of the largest economies, the largest economy which will have the highest growth rate. This also the UN has said yesterday also. The last financial year in 2021-22, we achieved a record export of 418 billion US dollars. This was the first time in our history that the 400 billion mark was surpassed. The India-US bilateral trade in 2022 was equally impressive. It grew 45% from 78 billion US dollars to 113 billion US dollars. The second point which I want to focus is the Indian startup ecosystem, which is booming. From a very insignificant number of maybe some hundreds in 2014, today we have over 70,000 startups, more than 70,000, which provide innovative solutions and services. And of them, more than 100 have achieved the unicorn status. This is no mean achievement. Our enterprising youth and their ideas are making India proud. India is indeed on the tech march. The third is our commitment to sustainable development goals, be it in health, sanitation, financial inclusion, women empowerment. In each of these sectors, it is giving appreciable results. In a short period of time, we were able to build over 113 million toilets. We opened 442 million bank accounts for those at the bottom of the pyramid. And not just that, they were also connected to the internet. This allowed us to provide a direct cash transfer support during the pandemic to millions of people. So the discussion about global food security, I would like to explain, because there was a question raised that in India we are producing surplus food, but many people are in famine. Perhaps that's a story perhaps some 10-15 years ago. That's not the story now. The present situation is that we are, not only that we are surplus, even during the pandemic, we provided food for 800 million people. And I can say with conviction that an Indian is not required to go to bed without food because of famine, of not having food. Even during the pandemic, the government ensured that every Indian is fed. So now the issue is about why the government is banning export. And the global food security was not related to any issue of not having food in India. The issue was that India have ample supplies, but why are you not sharing it with the world? Why are you bringing restrictions in exports? So that was the issue being raised by some of the global powers. We, of course, on 13th of May, we brought some restrictions, but those restrictions were in the interest of the global south, in the interest of the vulnerable societies, countries of the world. We didn't want that open markets giving rise to hoarding, giving rise to artificially created price rises. We have seen it during the period of the COVID. During COVID, the equity in vaccine distribution in the name of open market, that equity was lost. Many of those who had the way to do, they amassed. So we didn't want that to be repeated. So we decided that we will come to the help of our neighbors. We will come to the help of those who doesn't have food, those who are in need of food. And on the basis of the requests from the various countries of the world who are facing acute shortages of food, India will provide food for them. So open market should not lead to hoarding. Open market should not be an excuse for somebody to make money during this period. So that was the purpose of India bringing about restrictions. So I think that even if in this age of the technology, the fastest, the news travels so fast, I would say that many of you have mentioned about the perception that is to be, the effort that has to be made in changing the perception of India across the globe. That perception, perhaps, I would say that India always believed that it's not the government that will be the sole responsibility, doesn't lie will not be of the government alone, but we try to take the diaspora, we try to take every citizen of our country along with the government. That's what our Prime Minister mentioned. And the Prime Minister during the last Independence Day address from the ramparts of the Red Fort, he said that in 2014, when he came to power, he took over the reins of the government and of the country. He said, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. 2019, he was elected again. He said that Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas is not enough. We need to have Sabka Vishwas. Every section of the society should have conviction. Every section of the society needs to be convinced that Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas is for everyone. So government doesn't discriminate on the basis of religion, on the basis of language, on the basis of caste, on the basis of region, on the basis of community. That's the responsibility of the government. So any news that comes to you that somebody is discriminated against, somebody is in jail, those facts are unfounded. India is a democratic country where every citizen has the right to express his opinion, and there is a peaceful transition of power at every level, not only at the national level in the government of India, in the states, in the municipalities, in the panchayats, in the districts, in the block panchayats, everywhere. We will not be able to find a single incident, barring the period of 1975, a single incident where the democratic transition was halted. And we have a independent judiciary. The law of the land prevails. We have the Human Rights Commission, we have the Minority Rights Commission, we have the Scheduled Caste Commission, we have the Scheduled Tribe Commission. So there are multiple mechanisms. But even then, if some people feels that human rights are violated in India, it's because the glass they wear, it has to be tested. That's the thing. Not because India is at fault, it's the fault lies in the glass through which they look at it. So I would say that, of course, in some parts of the world still there are such colored versions about India. I would appeal to you, being enlightened citizens, because you are people who have been living in US, the largest economy of the world, considered to be the most influential society of the world. I would like to appeal to you to take an initiative to change these colored perceptions that is being spread by motivated groups and those with vested interests. Because government, what is government? Government of India has the representative in the Consul General. Government of India has a ambassador. But ultimately, it's the people, it's the diaspora, it's the citizens of India, people of Indian origin across the world, 32 million people, who have much more power than the Consul General or the ambassador. And when the Prime Minister spoke in the Independence Day address, he said that in 2019, when we added Sabka Vishwas, and now for the next 25 years of India's march to progress, India's march of transformation, he said that the next 25 years, when India at present is celebrating the 75th year and India is going to celebrate the 100th year of its independence, and the coming 25 years, which is going to be the transformation, period of transformation, the Amrit Kal, that Amrit Kal cannot happen only through the efforts of the government. It has to happen through the efforts of the community. So he said that, I am adding one more sentence, Sabka Prayas. So that Sabka Prayas is not only the development of India. It has to be, that Sabka Prayas has to be there to dispel such wrong notions, dispel such stories that circulate, dispel such colored versions, and put forward the reality before the ordinary citizen who may not have ill will towards India, but who are influenced by such stories. So, as enlightened citizens, and if those Indian friends, those Indian citizens in US doesn't take a lead, then who will take that lead? So that's why I would like to appeal to you. Is it our love for the country? It should manifest in, see, till 47, love for the country meant fighting for the freedom. Love for the country meant going to the jails. Love for the country meant going to gallows. But after 47, love for the country doesn't mean going on an agitation. After 47, love for the country means presenting the country in the proper way in front of the whole world. So that love for the country should not be limited to raising slogans of Bharat Mata Ki Jai or raising slogans in favor of the Prime Minister, but it should extend beyond that. And convincing, passing the message of India's achievements. It's not one person's achievement. Of course, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has been providing stellar leadership. But ultimately it is India, the idea of India. So that India is now a global leader, and in the coming days of the next 25 years, when India will be celebrating the 100th year, the centenary of India's independence, we would like to see an India which can give leadership to the whole world. And if that has to happen, Sabka Prayas need not be limited to those citizens who lives within the geographical borders of India, but who have India in their hearts, but living outside the geographical borders of India. So I would like to make this appeal to each one of you. And you can have confidence in the leader, the Prime Minister, whose single most major achievement has been in involving the people in everything that he does. Jan Bhagidari, involvement of the people. That has been his single major achievement or single major effort or the trait of his efforts. And that has happened in everything. Using technology, integrating technology in development. Integrating technology to be a responsive government. Integrating technology to see that instead of having a welfare-oriented approach, to have a rights-oriented approach. So that's why 800 million people were provided food crates. That's why 113 million toilets were constructed. That's why 442 million people of the rural areas who didn't have a bank account till 2014, they got bank accounts in just a span of maybe it started in 1 year and now in 5 years it reached almost 442 million. So this connect with the technology. That's the single important trait of the government. So we believe in maximum governance and minimum government. This was possible through integration of innovation and next generation technology in the delivery of public services. Over 40% of digital payments globally is accounted by India. And that would give an idea of the speed with which India is now progressing ahead. That is why our consulate has not been behind in deploying digital platforms for rendering efficient consular services. Just now I had the opportunity to release the mobile app. It has also provided the 2.0 version of the chatbot Ask Bharati for quicker response on frequently asked questions on OCI, passport and visa services. You would be happy to know that they handle more than 500 communications on these digital platforms every day. I hope this app, which was released today, will help you to connect better with the consulate. Please do share your candid feedback so that we can further improve upon it. Friends, before I conclude, I want to bring one more point to your attention. A month from now, we will be celebrating the International Day of Yoga on 21st June. This time, the marking of this global event must be special, for we are celebrating the 75 years of India's independence. The consulate, in partnership with community groups, is organizing several celebrations. The signature event, of course, will be at the Times Square, the crossroads of the world. And a curtain raiser is being planned at the Niagara Falls. This year, the Prime Minister has given a call for having the celebrations of the 75th, the Yoga Day, International Day of Yoga, on the occasion of the 75th year of India's independence in 75 iconic places. So, it's going to be a global event. So I would suggest you to bring wellness, Ayurveda, and all forms of healthy living as part of these festivities. Recently, our Prime Minister inaugurated the first of its kind WHO Global Traditional Medicine Center in Jamnagar, Gujarat. And next year, the world will come together to celebrate the International Year of Millets. Again, food security. That's the purpose of that. An idea brought to the United Nations by India. I invite you to join these celebrations and to contribute to living in harmony with nature. Friends, many of the issues you have raised, I have given a broad perspective of how we need to approach those issues. India has never been and is never and will never in future will be somebody's friend and somebody's enemy. So India is neither a friend of Russia nor an enemy of US. India has taken the view that the conflict in Ukraine has to be solved through diplomatic means and through constructive dialogue. We have been consistent, and many people were telling the other day that initially even those who felt that this is a slightly misplaced position is realizing now that is the correct stand, that is the proper stand that a country like India can take. So, we have never been closer to somebody or away from somebody. But at the same time, I would like to utilize the capabilities of each one of you to change the perception, if at all is there something other than what exactly the position of India is. So all these issues I have not made a point by point reply, but I'm definite that all of you can get answers to each one of your questions through the points I mentioned. So I have definitely enjoyed meeting you. Let's come together to make the Amrit Mahotsav of India's Azadi a grand success. And I call upon you to contribute to India's progress and growth over the next 25 years, what our Prime Minister calls as Amrit Kal, so that when we celebrate the 100 years of our freedom, we can all hold our heads still higher. We already are holding our heads high. But when we complete the next 25 years and we are on the 100th year of India's independence, definitely each one of us or our future generations will be able to hold their heads still higher. I wish you good luck and success. Jai Hind.